Good morning. Welcome to everyone from what has become the temporary and virtual home of the Calgary Unitarians as we attempt to diminish the threat of COVID-19 within our communities. Whoever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are in your journey of faith or search for meaning, you are truly welcome. If you're visiting for the first time, or should I say connecting for the first time, or for the first time in a long time, know that we're grateful to have you with us. We come together in beloved community to grow in wisdom, welcome and deepen relationships, and act for a just and sustainable world. My name is Alex Schumacher, and I have the privilege of serving on your board of trustees. In the present circumstances, there is obviously no table with blue cups manned by an informative board member. You are, however, cordially invited to join the coffee discussion after the service by clicking on the appropriate link. And there you will find conversation and information. I am and continue to be a committed Unitarian because I recognize the need to belong. In my case, to belong to a like-minded community, one whose vision is encompassed in our 7 principles. These not only elucidate the role that we should strive to play in our relationships with our community and other members of the human species, most relevant in the context of the events of the last 2 weeks, and perhaps even more significantly with all the elements of planet Earth, of which we are an integral part and to which we are ultimately answerable. In this context, it brings me great joy today to be here and to participate in rejoicing the beauty before us, of regeneration, of natural vigor, of spring turning to summer, and of hope. We acknowledge that this meeting takes place on the traditional territories of the people of the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprising the Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai First Nations, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and the Stoney Nakoda, including the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations of Treaty 7 Nation. The city of Calgary is also home of the Métis of Alberta Region 3. We acknowledge that we are all treaty people. And now we'll go to Lara for the chalice lighting.
We Are a People of Beauty by Kimberly Ann Tomzat Carlson. Recognizing the beauty around us and within us in voice and spirit, we gather in this virtual space to light our chalice. May we savor the beauty of our abundance and diversity, always cherishing one another and our earth. May we remember to inhale the lushness in life, knowing that we are a people of beauty.
Welcome. I'm Lynn Nugent, a member of the Calgary Unitarians, and Lara, Shannon, and I are your service leaders today. We begin our time together with the words of Annie Dillard. We are here to abet creation and to witness to it, to notice each other's beautiful face and complex nature so that creation need not play to an empty house. There is much beauty before us. We witness it in each other and in the world around us. In creation, as Annie Dillard phrases it. Temperatures are finally warming and flowers are responding accordingly. At this time of year and through the summer, and I might add last night, which is why Mitch is experiencing some flooding problems today, we also experience magnificent rain and thunderstorms, sometimes with a little hail thrown in just to keep it interesting. This is another kind of experience of natural phenomena that brings awe and its own kind of beauty to our attention in quite a different way from the flowers. Lara will speak about this more a little bit later. Our prelude flower show, Flower Flash, from New York floral designer Louis Miller, began as an experiment in 2016 and continued to happen sporadically in the city after that time. Louis Miller began giving this gift in an intentional and strategic way during the darkest days of the pandemic. His work illustrates the creativity of human beings during times of stress to bring nature's beauty before us as a reminder of the good and the positive. Miller's intention was to create a positive emotional response through flowers, and I think he has succeeded. These flower displays say thank you to the first line workers, and they lifted hearts and brought smiles to folks who were out and about on the streets of Manhattan. Here at home, business and services are starting to cautiously open again, but there is still pandemic stress. The last couple of weeks, there's also been an eruption of anger and frustration around the world as a response to deeply embedded social and political structures of white privilege. Today, we acknowledge the stress and the pain that so many are experiencing. We also recognize that it is not frivolous to bring a moment of joy to others or to feel the corners of your mouth turning up. Hopi Elder, White Eagle, counsels that it is through joy that one resists. When the storm passes, each of you will be important in the reconstruction of this new world. She goes on to say, sing, dance, resist through art, joy, faith, and love. It is in this spirit that we bring you our annual flower communion, that we may connect with the beauty before us and find joy in the flowers. I hope our virtual flower communion will bring a smile to your beautiful face. And now to Jane for her words of welcome and our opening song.
Good morning, friends. It's good to be together with you again in this virtual space. So, as the elder said, let's sing and let's sing joyfully. Our first hymn this morning is a Spanish song called De Colores. The first three verses are in English and the final verse in Spanish. It's a celebration of flowers, of rainbows, of parades with their colorful banners, and it's also a celebration of people of all colors, and all of us working together for the common good. We've started to see more and more people get involved with Black Lives Matter, with taking seriously systemic racism, and it warms my heart to see so many new voices getting involved in this conversation. So let's sing joyfully together, De Colores.
Shines out through a rift in the cloud and it showers all the colors.
Good morning, everyone. I am excited to be here on this fine sunny morning after yesterday's thunderstorm and hail that we had. That was a lot of excitement. You might be wondering, what are the children doing this week? And this week we're actually celebrating Pride Month, and we're going to be talking about gender. And so we're going to be reading a trans-positive book, My Dad Thinks I'm a Boy by Sophie LaBelle. And we actually have a signed copy of this book donated to our Rainbow Library. So I'm just loving that. And if any of you want to donate to our Rainbow Library, we have a list of books, and so just send me an email. And this week, the youth are going to be watching a video on deconstructing white privilege by Robin DiAngelo. And I think it's really important with current events. And we're going to check in with youth, how they're feeling about everything that's going on right now. And today is Flower Communion. So I'm very excited. I have flowers in my hair. I have flowers in the background. I have my cherry blossoms here. And I got a nice compliment this morning. And they said, is that a virtual background? And I said, no, this is my new house. So I just moved, and this is my new background I'm testing out for this week. So I'm glad it's working. And I want to talk about beauty and how beauty can lift our spirits and how we can beautify our own spaces today in honor of Flower Communion. So I've been doing a few things. One is, for those who know me, I've been on Kijiji free all month, getting stuff for my new house. So this is a wreath I got for free, and the wreath behind me, also free. So I do no contact, goes in the trunk for a week, and you're good to go. And I have some new to me furniture that's a little weird in color. And I thought, oh, how am I gonna match the artwork? And then my I don't know why, but I'm happy she did, because I went on Kijiji and got some free frames, and I've done spring and summer. And someone said, that bird looks angry. And I said, yes, that one's giving the other bird trouble for something, but I still like my summer one. And we have fall. There's my fall picture. And winter. So if you have any calendars laying around, frame them up, and you can add a little beauty to your space. Or if you have children or grandchildren, my daughter drew this for me on Mother's Day, and that's some really nice art there. So there's lots of opportunities to add beauty to your space. Talk to your friends. Maybe they're really tired of their decor, and you guys can make a trade. I know my mom gave me this vase. Oh, I can't even lift it. No, this is like 10 pounds. Okay. She gave me this vase, and I said, are you sure, Mom? And she said, yeah, I hate it. I'm tired of it. So you never know if there's someone who just thinks something is terrible and you think it's beautiful. So make those trades and beautify your life today for Flower Communion. And now I pass it on to Lynn. Thank you.
Good morning. Why do Unitarians and Unitarian Universalists continue to hold a Flower Communion year after year? What's behind this ritual, created by Unitarian minister Norbert Čepak and his wife Maja in 1923 for the Prague Unitarian congregation? I mean, yes, there's value in welcoming flowers and the beauty of nature after winter's icy hold dissipates, but the meaning of this ceremony goes much deeper. I've paraphrased Norbert Čepak's deeply considered reasons for the creation of Flower Communion. He chose flowers as a symbolic sacrament because they are nature's most tender, common, and beautiful gift. A flower is divine. You cannot create it, whatever effort you make. You can create only a dead forgery without fragrance and life, nothing more. Dr. Chapek envisioned the symbolism of the ceremony in this way. Each of us is individually symbolized in a flower. Flowers together in a vase symbolize our commonality, being together in community. We bring and carry away the flowers voluntarily, and this symbolizes freedom. Taking a blossom home that has been brought by someone else without knowing who contributed that blossom symbolizes that we share all together in community without preference for one person over another. Dr. Chapek realized that the flower communion is supposed to be a modest celebration. No magical, mysterious, or supernatural powers or beings are involved. Instead, there's a fairly transparent and simple symbol, the flower. He said that to the best of his knowledge, flowers are not associated anywhere with war and strife. He emphasized the need of human mutual understanding, empathy, sharing, and forgiveness. It seems to me that this message is as needed now in our world as it was then. Flower communion struck a chord and spread around Unitarian congregations. It was brought to North America in 1940 by Reverend Maja Chapek. Maja was also ordained a Unitarian minister. American Unitarians offered asylum to Norbert Maja and the family when the Nazis took control of Prague in 1940. Norbert stayed behind to help others through this dark and difficult time. During his trial, the Nazis indicated they found his gospel of the inherent worth and beauty of every person to be, and I quote, too dangerous for the Reich to allow him to live. Norbert Chapek was sent to Dachau concentration camp, where he was killed during a Nazi medical experiment, so-called, in 1942. Maja Chapek did not learn of his death until the war ended. We remind each other of this history at Flower Communion to honor and be inspired by his message and his courage. May it be a reminder to never grow complacent. We're not able to be together in person to create our bouquet and share our flowers with one another, but it's important, I think, to continue meaningful ceremonies together, a reminder of who we are in community, and to hold on to our personal and communal values as expressed in our 7 principles and our congregational purpose statement, which Alex read for us in the board greeting this morning. For our flower communion today in our virtual space, we've created a virtual bouquet using flower photos. Thank you to all those who sent pictures, and thank you to Ev Dewar for creating the PowerPoint. Greatly appreciated, Ev. Our ceremony in this virtual space will be both individual and communal. Individual, as we each engage with a meditation on flowers read by Lara, and communal, as our community virtual bouquet appears on the screen. Let the beauty of the flowers wash over you.
Thank you, Lynn. Now we move into our centering time and communion with flowers. There will be a guided meditation followed by a time for silent reflection. Then Jane will share Wonderful Music Reflection by Edward McDowell. Fragile and Rooted Meditation by Carolyn S. Owen Towell. See a blossom in your mind's eye. Allow it to fill the interior of your imagination. Greater perfection of form in nature cannot be imagined. With inward gaze, absorb each wondrous fluted petal. Slide down its humid surface until you drop as the dew into its velvety core. Immerse your senses in this safe chamber. Such fragile beauty gives impulse to weep. Slowly reverse the journey. As you ascend the shaft toward wider light, turn your imagination around and around to see its many facets. Stored within is the memory of all flowers. Marvel that this creation, while utterly fragile yet undaunted, boldly buds forth, turning resolutely toward the sun. We too shimmer with expectation, exuding our own illumination, color, pulse, and scent. Vulnerable, still we venture our lives courageously toward hope and light, at once fragile and rooted.
Let us take time now to recognize the importance of community. At the foundation of our faith is the recognition that we are bound together in the great web of life, in what Dr. King called an inescapable network of mutuality, a single garment of destiny. Giving substance to that awareness, we turn to honor the joys and the sorrows we share, knowing that in so many ways, what touches the life of one of us affects us all. On our spinning ball of a world, there are countless causes for concern, situations that touch our hearts and rightly call for our compassion. This morning, we hold in our hearts all those who live in turmoil, all those whose lives are beset by fear of what the future may hold, those who are displaced, and those who are worried for their own well-being and for the well-being of those they love. May we listen deeply with open minds and open hearts as issues of systemic injustices are raised to our awareness, and may we be allies in the struggles ahead. Knowing that so many issues here and abroad weigh on our minds, let us now lift them up and take a breath together. And we carry with us today concerns closer to home. We hold in love and care this day all those contending with illness, those healing from pain, be it spiritual, physical, or emotional. We think of those struggling with the hard and heartbreaking stuff of life. Let us hold them and any other concerns that those of us are carrying in our hearts, and let us take a breath together. Along with sorrow, there is also joy, causes for celebration and milestones and gratitude. There are those among us who are celebrating birthdays or anniversaries in June. Best wishes to you all. Although we have not spoken of personal joys aloud, let us honor the joys that are resting in the silence of our thoughts and hearts and take a breath together. One of our joys in community is getting to know each other. Today, we will become better acquainted with Courtney Rosvold. She has recorded her reflections on what being a member of our Calgary Unitarian community means to her. Thank you, Courtney.
Hi, my name is Courtney Rosvold, and I'm one of the newer members of the church. I came to the church in a bit of a roundabout way when I was having a little bit of a health scare, and I was looking for a way to kind of manage all the feelings and life questions that come up around that. And I knew from my research in my master's in counseling that community is one of the most important aspects. And I've always struggled a little bit with forming my own community, coming from a long line of introverts. And I'm actually an extrovert, but I'm surrounded by introverts. And so sort of is a more difficult skill for me. And so I thought that an environment like a church would be perfect for me. However, I've never really felt comfortable with organized religion or had any of those belief systems. My family attended Christmas Eve service once a year at the Lutheran church because we're Norwegian and that's just what you did. But otherwise, no connection sort of to that. And as I've grown older, I've become a more spiritual person. And so I was looking for like the Center for Spiritual Living or something like that. And my mom suggested the Unitarian Church, actually. And I went to the website and I looked it up, and everything really resonated with me. The other thing that was funny is that I realized based on the address that I had literally grown up down the street from the church, and gone by and read the quotes on the outside of the building and really enjoyed them, since a teenager. And I'd even been in the church because my partner works for the Calgary Young People's Theatre summer camp sometimes. And so I'd seen a performance in there. And so I felt really comfortable going to that building. I was also looking for something that I could do with my son, River. And the information about the school and the childcare options really made me feel comfortable to come into the church with my kids. And so when we arrived, we were welcomed very warmly. And what I remember sort of from the first month, in between kind of running down to the nursery and back up to the main room, was that every time I was in the main room, I just had tears in my eyes the whole time. And they were tears of happiness because I had never been in a room where so many people thought the same things that I think. And I don't mean that we all have the same opinions or things like that about anything. What I mean is the ideas of social justice, the ideas of, not discriminating based on any factors, of trying to learn and do better, and the inquiry of searching for meaning and those types of things. And if you see me in an upstairs part of the service, you'll probably see me with tears in my eyes because the whole time I just feel so happy that everyone's so nice, especially during the songs. I'm like, it's so nice. And I'm a softie like that. And so I really, really enjoyed that part. We stopped going for a little while when I became pregnant with my second child, and I was working full time, and it was just a lot. But when she was born, we came back, and as she's kind of grown older, I once again am kind of running between downstairs and up, mostly downstairs. And so I've really appreciated getting to know the staff down there. They're wonderful, and I've been sort of building my community in that way. And I look forward to getting to know more of the upstairs people as my kids get older and I can let them be a bit more. What keeps me coming back is I've done work with the Social Justice Committee, and I look forward to doing more of that. And I'm excited when, again, one day I have more freedom and I can join the choir. And so I sort of see all this potential for more community and more getting to know wonderful people. And since the pandemic, I haven't been as connected as I would like to be, mostly because my days just, I blink and they're gone with the little kids. But I have watched most of the services, and I haven't attended any of the coffee times because you would hear screeching and running about behind me most of it. Anyway, I just wanted to say hello to everyone, and have a great day. Bye.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the
September 2019, I started my master's degree in spiritual care at the Vancouver School of Theology. As part of this degree, I took 2 Hebrew Bible courses. They were fascinating and challenging, and my professor's enthusiasm was inspiring. As part of this course, I was required to write a weekly journal on my reflections on the readings we did of the Hebrew Bible. I would like to share my final reflection with you. My love-hate relationship with the Hebrew Bible has taken a curve way into the side of love this week. As I read through Job 37 to 39, I'm reminded of the awe I have experienced many times out in nature, feeling connection to the tremendous beauty and power so palpably. I weep with gratitude. From Job 37 and 38. Under the whole heaven, God lets loose, and lightning spreads to the corners of the earth. God thunders wondrously with God's voice, doing great things we cannot comprehend. And from whose womb did the ice come forth? And who has given birth to the hoarfrost of heaven? When the waters become hard as stone, when the surface of the deep is frozen? As I read these passages, a beautiful memory of my grandfather taking me outside and holding me on his lap as a thunderstorm approaches fills my mind. We sit on the old doghouse under the shelter of the roof. The sound of the thunder and wind in the trees fills me with excitement and fear at once. His wonder and awe at the incredible beauty of the light show we are witnessing seep into me. I feel safe and warm in his arms. My heart is full, and I sense we are part of the strength and aliveness of nature. I reflect on the reverence my grandfather taught me for nature and its mysterious, powerful, and indescribably beautiful beauty. The heightened feeling of excitement meeting fear that fills me when a storm approaches fills me now as I write. This is tied to my belief that the divine is too immense and amazing to explain. Although I have been incredibly frustrated with the Hebrew Bible many times during the year, these passages, this poetry in the book of Job, really resonate with me today. These verses also give me hope. When I read these passages, I can begin to imagine that the writers of these verses, way back in ancient Israel, understood the need for humans to humbly connect with the beauty of nature. This gives me hope for humanity today. Perhaps as a species, we can gain greater recognition of the sacred in nature and the damage we have caused to the earth. Perhaps there is still time to embrace and pass on the ability to cherish nature, to feel the wonder of it, like my grandfather taught me. Now Jane will play Mother Spirit, Father Spirit by Norbert Chapek.
Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, when
At this moment, I would like to repeat Reverend Falk's words and request that we all take a few minutes to appreciate our being together, albeit only virtually, yet with recognition that we truly are together and not alone. We need community to remind us of our web of connection, of our capacity and willingness to give and receive. For it is the contributions of each one of us that creates and sustains our community.
And our closing words. We are here to abet creation and to witness it, to notice each other's beautiful face and complex nature, so that creation need not play to an empty house. And a version of the Navajo Dene prayer known as the Beauty Way. Beauty is before me and beauty is behind me. Above me, below me, hovers the beautiful. I'm surrounded by it. I'm immersed in it. In my youth, I am aware of it, and in old age. I shall walk quietly the beautiful trail. In beauty, it is begun. In beauty, it is ended. Now Lynn will share a prayer for the extinguishing of the chalice.
We extinguish our chalice with these words by Joel Miller. Let our lives be a prayer that waters dry souls, men's broken hearts, refuses to be terrorized, seeks the world's beauty, and carries us through its storms. And now to Jane for our closing benediction, Spirit of Life.